Okay, this is kind of a part 2 of the last video because now I'm doing my Halloween costume and I'm going to paint a mask the same way I did the Nerf gun. So, I got the spray paint out. Time to spray paint the whole thing black, probably 2 coats. And it's best to do it light and do lots of coats instead of really heavy and only a few coats. So I'm getting the edges a little bit now. Just getting a glossy look on it. I think that's good. I'll be back in a little bit. So I'm back for part 2, and, well, part 2 of the painting of the mask. And this mask was made of cardboard, I think, at the beginning, and then was paper mache a little bit. So there are some spots where it's kind of wrinkled, but the spray paint will kind of fill in the gaps a little bit, as long as I do it good. So, small. Okay, I didn't get paint on myself. That's good. And that's it. I'm gonna come back for maybe a 3rd or 4th layer or coat, but that's all I need to do. Remember that it's always good to do a lot of little coats instead of one big coat, because one time I was spray painting my sister's chair that she has in her room now, and it was a white spray paint, and there was a clump of spray paint in one spot, and it dried up, and when it dried it cracked, and it doesn't look very good, so I had to take off some paint and try it again, which is always a lot more work. So I didn't wait too much for this layer to dry, but it's probably okay. So I'm going to go super light on this one since it didn't dry much. And I'll be back. And also I'll show you how I did this pattern. Okay, I am back, and this one will be really short. And I'm gonna do a big layer, but quick. So that looks really good now, and I'm just going to touch it up a little bit, and I think that's good to go. And next I'll show you how to put the blue on there and spray paint the blue a little bit so it's darker. So I'm back the next morning, and the mask has dried. I pulled it off the paper and brought it inside. So now I have this blue paint, and it's just a paint sample, and it can be any kind of paint, oil paint or anything, but I'm using this. And what you want to do is open it, stir it up a lot, because this, if you don't stir it, it gets really miscolored, and some parts are stained really bright blue, right here, and then others are the color it's supposed to be. So, I'm gonna mix it up, and I'm doing this with a straw right now, and you'll see why in a second. Mix, mix, mix. Okay, so I'm ready to do it now. And how I did my Nerf gun is I sucked up a little bit of this, not to go in my mouth. Make sure you don't do it in your mouth. And blow it onto the mask. I'm gonna suck up less this time. And right there I let the big blob of paint just drip, and I let all the other stuff go on. So I'm gonna do a little bit more splatters. And you want to blow out the big chunks so that it doesn't dry puffy. You could also use a clean straw for this, but I'm just using the same straw. You can also blow harder and softer to make different patterns and designs. Okay, so I'm done now, I think, and it looks good to me. So I'm gonna do the last finishing touch, and this makes it look really nice. And you get the same spray paint you were using, and don't let it fall over. Okay, seal up your paint, because you don't need it anymore. Get the spray paint out. I'm putting the straw in the gun so it doesn't get spray painted and also it doesn't stick to anything. Shake it up. And from a distance, you want to spray it a little. Whoa. Oh, that was bad. I just did a big puff of it right there. gonna do a little bit more here. And I'm gonna do it here too. And maybe right here. Okay, that actually looks really good. I'm done now, and I'm just gonna let it dry, and I'm going to put it on the string for the mask later on.